Geiger was nice enough to send me one of their Super Slide handheld consoles for sliding puzzles, which has over 500 sliding puzzles in it. Let's talk about it.
What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review, and today I'm very excited to be checking out the Geiger Super Slide handheld console for sliding puzzle. This is for one person, and it has 500 puzzles that you're going to be able to use on this little thing. Now, this is going to be a review. I'm not going to actually show you how it's played. I do have a complete gameplay video, boop, up there if you want to see exactly how it works. But this little doodad is going to take 2 AA batteries, and it has 3 buttons up here on top. First one will turn it off and on. And what it's going to do is it's going to pop up a number. So right now I'm on puzzle number 511. If I want to go to a different puzzle, I would hit one of these 2 buttons. Obviously to the right, we go to puzzle number 1, which in theory is the easiest puzzle. Now what it's going to do is it's going to show you how to assemble that puzzle, which I'll actually do right now. And one thing I want to mention is you're going to get a whole bunch of these little pieces right here. Now these pieces are a little bit magnetic, as you can see. So they do kind of stay in there. It's not a perfect system, though. They don't really clasp into place, but it's very, very functional. Now, the star of the show on these pieces is going to be this big red piece right here, which you're actually trying to get into this little spot right here. If I just put it right there, it would say, hey, congratulations, you've won. But I just cheated right there, and we know we cheated. So let's just go back to puzzle 1, and we'll set it up. Does that sound good, big girl? Yeah, so we've got the blue, we've got the 2 yellows right here, and just like that, we have our puzzle set up. So setting these things up, very easy. No language requirements at all, which is absolutely spectacular. I'm starting to bleed into the review here. And then what you got to do is you just have to move pieces, 1 or 2 at a time, and try to get, boop, boop, bop, try and get the red right there, which we just did. And so now it shows me, hooray, congratulations, we've done it, and we can go on to different puzzles. Now, the other thing that I really want to mention here is there's also 2 additional game modes you could do, because the puzzles get progressively more difficult. What you do is you can hold down the L, and it'll go into learning mode. And it'll actually show you which piece you're going to move and where you move it to, piece by piece by piece. So if you ever get stuck, this will show you exactly how to do it. Super duper useful. Also, if you hold down the C, which you, no, right here. Hold down the C once I get into a new one. So I'll turn it off and then turn it back on, and then I'll hold down the C. You can go to what's called challenge mode. And this is where it's going to have a timer, and you try to complete this puzzle as fast as you can. So once that gets loaded, I go to 3. Oh, wait, so now we're on puzzle 3. Let the puzzle load. Then I'll hold down the C. Oh, big, and then it goes into challenge mode. 3, 2, 1. Go! And then you have to try and race as fast as you can, and it gives you a letter grade at the end of that. From failure to fantastic. But that's the general gist of it. Once again, if you want to see exactly how it's played, click on the link up there. This is the review. So what are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros. Let's go over the cons. I've had this thing for about a week and a half now. Really been enjoying playing with my family. But let's start on the con side. First on the con side, it does take 2 AA batteries, which I know is weird for some people, having batteries. Honestly, I'm really stretching for the cons here. There's not too many. It can be samey. Obviously you just have a whole bunch of these pieces and you're just moving them around. If you lose a piece, that kind of stinks, and that can happen. My son accidentally lost one because, like I said, it's not a full magnetic clasp, but it's somewhat of a magnetic clasp. And especially with kids, I think there's going to be this urge to hold it and walk with it and play with it kind of thing, which you totally can do. But you do need to be cognizant of that. There's no extra pieces included, which would be a nice thing, but honestly, that would be expensive, and I understand why they're not in there. But once again, struggling for nitpicks here. Any other cons that I have with this thing? No, not really. I mean, I don't know the exact battery life, but I've had this thing for, like I said, a week and a half now, something like that. And my son has played it, the snot out of it. Both my sons, my 6-year-old and my 9-year-old. And I've probably played 30 to 50 puzzles as I tried to figure out how to use everything. Oh, I will say the rules. That is the one thing. The rules are not the best. They're not bad. It's just it doesn't feel like the company that wrote this is typically used to writing rule booklets, and that's what I read a lot of. But luckily, if you watch the video, you'll see that there's not much to explain here. And that's all I got on the cons. Moving on to the pros, I really like this thing. I think it's a great product, especially if you're looking for something to entertain yourself with that's not, a screen. And I think that's where a lot of parents find themselves now. It's like, I don't want to just hand my kid the phone or the DS or the PSP or the old Game Boy Advance I have. You know, I don't want to just do that. Whereas this, you know, yeah, it does have a screen, but it's still like stimulating your brain. Kids really enjoy this as well. Like I said, my 6 and my 9-year-old have been enamored with it. And the bottom line is, as long as you teach them at first how to use the thing, it's incredibly simple. It's only got 3 buttons. The learning mode is great if they get frustrated. The challenge mode, I will say, that's a minor con. I wish there was a way that you could have the challenge mode be tiered. So it's like, hey, this is for kids or for beginners, and this is the challenge mode for experts. I'd love if that setting was in there, because right now the challenge mode is really hard. And the S stands for failure. That's just rough, especially when your target market is probably going to be, you know, in first grade. But then once again, nitpick. Everything that I have negative about this is a nitpick. Now, I'm not going to give this a Bowers Best Seal, which is what I award for things that I would say that are a 9, just because I don't feel like there's a huge variety of gameplay on this. All the puzzles are very, very similar. I mean, obviously, you only have 3 main pieces, the yellow, the red, and the blue. But I do think that they did a great job of adding that 4th piece with the green, and it's really simple. It's just, so you remember, you just flip the blue on its side. Language independent, I think that's a fantastic aspect of this as well. Anyone in the world could quite literally learn how to play this, probably just from screwing around with it, and a little bit of guidance, and I do like that an awful lot. And at the end of the day, I can absolutely recommend the Super Slider from Geiker if you're in the market for something like this for yourself or for your family. A neat little thing to have on your desk. It's quick. You can have this thing up and play. You can play for like 2 or 3 minutes. You could probably play it in the bathroom if you really wanted to. But at the end of the day, I do recommend it. I enjoy it, and I'm going to be keeping it. It's actually going to go into my kids' room, and hopefully they won't lose the pieces. But even if they do, I think they're still going to have a heck of a fun time with it, because you can still do some of the puzzles as long as you don't lose the red or the blue. Yeah. Anywho. Recommend this one. Definitely check it out if you're in the market for something like this. If you enjoy this content, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below, as I'm trying to reach 15,000 subscribers by the end of 2023. It's a very ambitious goal for me, but I think we can do it. Also, if you enjoy the channel and you want to consider supporting it in one way, check out the Patreon down below. And in the comments below, let me know, what's your handheld console of choice? You know what? Not your handheld console of choice. I want to know, what was the handheld console that made you fall in love with handheld console gaming? And I still remember it so vividly. It was the original Game Boy that my grandma got for me when I think I was maybe about, I want to say 10, maybe 9 or 10 years old. Maybe it was a little bit younger than that. Me and my cousin Lakin both got one. We got the little cord that you could plug in. I think we had like F1 Racing, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. And then the Game Gear. Oh, the Game Gear. I could talk about Game Gear all day. That's one of them that I have to add to my collection one day. I used to play Game Gear on the bus. I used to think I was so cool. You remember the TV attachment? That was so neat. Let me know in the comments below, what's your handheld console that made you fall in love with handheld gaming? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube. This video is brought to you by all of my amazing Patreon supporters, and I would love it if you would join their ranks and have your name immortalized in the end of many of my videos for the end of time. But consider for only $1 a month, and as always, thanks for stopping by.